Okay, now creating a battery. So here I have in here silicon carbide and fluoride and aluminum oxide, and I applied the surface that is cut to a shape of a footpad. It is a piece of aluminum. It is aluminum. It's of this gauge, and I'm using cooking copper sheet film as far as fabric, copper foil, and I'm going to apply that application on top of here. I'm going to add a little bit more silicon carbide, and I'm going to add some graphite or graphene that I'm going to extract from the batteries and apply the application on top. Then I'm apply the foil on top, and then I'm overlay the foil with the same and with at least graphene or graphite. So right here I have the silicon carbide, and I'm going to add some onto the surfaces. So I have a resistant. I could reface it with aluminum oxide, but I'm just going to add the silicon carbide and then have that melt bond, that crystalloid bond to the aluminum sheet. So, and then I'm going to stack it. I have two plastics, double plastic that I'm going to contain it in and separate it by some tape. So that will be one part of this, and then the segment is repeated again and stacked on top of one another. My name is Jermaine Morton, and the footpad is supposed to be connected to here, my sandals. As far as the increase in voltage, so I added two single phase capacitors of 450 volts. I added two rectifiers because there are two different coils in here. So I'm pushing each coil against one another, and I'll apply the footpad on the back of here. So this is how it would actually fit on the back of here. And I'm going to glue it with a glue welders of Gorilla Glue and then rubber glue. Industrial Gorilla Glue and then rubber glue. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this work and complete this work right now. Okay, so the silicon carbide has been added and closed up within this plastic and aluminum sheet. And the battery has been cut and separated and added alongside the exterior of the aluminum. So there, that's one part. This is the second part that I'm adding the silicon carbide and fluoride to here, to the next. And then I'm going to follow up with darkening its textures and moving the silicon carbide into the fabric copper. And that's the next part. That's this part. So I'll have to put my phone down and do the rest. Okay, so what I did is roll the packet, the silicon carbide mixture, and here's the battery, and there's a stack in between, separate stack that are linear and line together, and I'm going to coil it with a coil, and I'm going to coil it with a coil, and I think that I'm going to open it just a little bit back up and add a little silicon carbide on the top of it. I'm going to do that also to the back of it. So, okay, so I applied the coil onto the surfaces, and that should make a magnetic field and synchronize the linear induction, synchronize the capacitive sheets, voltage capacitive sheets. I'm using aluminum and copper sheets, copper foil, and silicon carbide and graphene localized onto the surfaces. This is already a battery, so I mix it up and add silicon carbide for thermovoltaic. Here's the current carrying phase right here. Here is the current carrying phase right here. These are two phase for different stacks. One phase, and then it's another one without that turns into another. And here's the second phase. So positive and negative, and the two phase wires for the lens law. Up and down for electrical energy wiring, which will charge this with electromagnetic field. Now, I'm going to add an aluminum sheet to cover over it. I could use either aluminum sheet, or I could use powder aluminum and thermo melt it, and put this in a mold of plaster and coat it over with aluminum powder, which is actually thermo melted liquid aluminum, and it will coat over the entirety. But first I will add the resin so I can reduce the heat penetration against the surfaces. And once I add the resin, then I would add the actual aluminum powder to encase it with an aluminum block. And then I'm able to, So here's the phase wire. It's that thin. It's a battery, and it's light. So I'm going to show you that it works. Here, the foot battery is coupled to this. I'm going to connect it in a permanent state and phase the phase wires at the end of this sandal, and that will have the battery localized there. I have the linear, and I have the Hall effect. So I can apply two Hall effects, another one around here, around the side, so I can mount this within the system. So that's what I plan to do around the edges and mount another coil. And that just be in a minute. I'll be back. Okay, so I wrap it in the coil, and I wrap the linear coil and another additional coil around it, and I phase the metallic bond to the phase point ends of the battery that is in here. Linear motion. See, I have it as a linear, then I have it as a coil going around. Then I have another additional coil that is separate from the other, and the ones that's up here that is actually one big coil that rolls around many times. So I don't have to wait yet. I have capacitors, no capacitors in here. I want to use my buck controller, high frequency buck controller for it to run it, and that shall be later.